Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda, and please welcome to our Operation Freedom platform, WeThePeopleProcessing.com. You know, are you tired of being threatened to be canceled just because you have a company focused on liberty and freedom? Well, worry no more, folks. WeThePeopleProcessing.com is your go-to merchant services, freedom-based company to provide business service payment solutions. We the People Processing provides their clients a cancel culture-free platform which is domestically based. They provide competitive rates, no contracts with next-day funding, a fully vetted and like-minded financial infrastructure, and full support for integrations, implementation, and e-commerce efforts. Bottom line, WeThePeopleProcessing.com focuses on defending your company's free market growth, values, and future. Check them out at www.WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Once you're on the site, enter in password Operation Freedom or call 855-499-2024. That's WeThePeopleProcessing.com. Then, when on the website, enter Operation Freedom as your password or call 855-499-2024.
Mr. President-elect,
go ahead.
Can you say
categorically,
categorically,
question,
Mr. President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir.
I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Dave versus the MSM. I'd like to thank you for joining me today. Now, you can join me outside of Tuesdays every day of the week. How? Well, first of all, on Sunday, we have our Operation Freedom radio show, which airs out of the People's Republic of Ann Arbor through Wham Talk 1600 studios every Sunday from 2 to 5 Eastern. The way you can listen to it, and we have listeners in all 50 states and on average over 120 countries worldwide every week, just go to davejanda.com between 2 and 5 Eastern. Hit the Listen Live button. It'll take you to Wham Talk 1600 streaming service. Hit play. You're with us. Great guests, great analysis, information. The bought-off, lamestream, fake media tentacle of the deep state will never provide. We're also available 24/7 at davejanda.com, both the free, the public side, as well as the subscription side with extra shows, extra content, extra guests, archives to all of our broadcasts and all of our videos. We hope you become part of our freedom family. Today's topic is the deep state's propaganda is turning into vapor. Yeah. The deep state is acting out on many different respects. Let me just give you an example as it relates to our platform. Starting a couple weeks ago, a number of you that went to our davejanda.com website for free content and the extra shows got hit with an error message. Our IT team immediately started dissecting what was going on. Now, it was limited to those individuals who had downloaded a particular software program to their computers somewhere in the distant past called Avast or AVG. And people who have downloaded that program said, well, I think I'm doing this for security purposes. That's what. Well, a little homework into Avast AVG. If you're expecting to get much security out of that platform, best of luck. And when the IT team did work into this and looked into this, they found out that Avast and AVG has a history of generating false positives. Turns out they generated a false positive with their recent software update against our freedom-based platform. And this is the extent big tech and the deep state will go to try to block. You see, they couldn't hack into our site. We spend many thousands of dollars every month. People say, why do you have a subscription service? It's not cheap running a website, at least a website that provides security to those who come to it. So our IT team has been all over this. And I fired off emails to Avast AVG saying, what are you doing here? We've dissected our website. It's completely clean. It is There is nothing here to block people from coming in. What are you doing? And the IT team went through the IT channels to do the same with Avast AVG. Nothing. And then finally, our IT team got through to HQ there and said, what are you doing here? Turns out we got an apology night before last from them. They said there's nothing wrong with the site. Our error messages we were generating to those that have Avast AVG was wrong. Our fault. See you later. Bye. Well, it just doesn't go away that easily, right? As far as I'm concerned. When you target us, you're targeting freedom. And the problem with the freedom movement is when people get targeted, they don't out the perpetrators. So, based on their targeting of our freedom-based website and how they handled this entire issue over the past couple weeks, I believe Avast AVG software is not, repeat, not to be trusted, used, or downloaded to any device that I would value or you should value. Period. But that's how panicked the deep state is in blocking you from getting freedom-based information. They're acting out in a number of different ways. How about this one? Remember when, more of their propaganda milling, remember when Bill Clinton met with Loretta Lynch on that tarmac in Phoenix right before Hillary's email decision was going to come out of the FBI, right? And how illegal that was. First, people denied it in the bought-off lamestream fake media. Oh, that didn't happen. Well, then the pictures surfaced. Oh, well, yeah, it did happen, but they were talking about their grandkids. Yeah, right. The person who broke that story was a reporter last name by the name of Sign, S-I-G-N. This is how panicked they are at this point, okay? I know they want you to believe they're completely in control and that they have the narrative completely wrapped up. Reporter who broke the Clinton Lynch tarmac story and received significant death threats has been found dead. Yet another body bag around the Clintons, right? The body of a Birmingham, Alabama journalist who broke the story about the controversial 2016 tarmac meeting in Phoenix between former President Bill Clinton and then Attorney General Loretta Lynch was found recently of an apparent suicide, according to sources. By the way, all of us in the freedom movement, we are healthy, we are happy to dissect the deep state and all of their tentacles. No, don't buy any of this. The tarmac bombshell, which gave the appearance that Bill Clinton was privately pleading his wife's email case after then FBI James Comey launched a new investigation, is thought to have contributed to Hillary Clinton's loss. Actually, Hillary Clinton led to her own loss, right? Sign, meanwhile, had complained last year of receiving significant death threats, having his credit cards hacked, and creating code words to use with his children. Sign, an Emmy award-winning reporter, made national headlines over the June 27, 2016 tarmac meeting at Phoenix Sky Harbor Airport amid the FBI's investigation into Hillary Clinton's use of an unauthorized server. The meeting between Clinton and Lynch occurred days before Comey announced that the Bureau would not press charges against Hillary after the agency changed internal language. Actually, the agency didn't. Let's give a name to it. Peter Strzok. Yeah, you know that dweeb who was doing Lisa Page, who was involved in the fake Russian hoax issue? Yeah, he was the one. Strzok was the one who changed the wording about how Clinton's conduct, he changed it from gross negligence to extremely carelessness. Now, that verbiage change was critical because gross negligence is a term under law that can be prosecuted, while extremely careless is not. They conclude, in short, Bill Clinton's tarmac meeting appears to have had quite the effect on his wife's investigation, despite the fact that she still lost. And now the guy who broke the story is dead. And that is the extent that the bought-off lamestream fake media and the deep state are now going to, because their narrative is vaporizing in front of them. Speaking of vapor, let's talk about tear gas. Greenwald, yet another media tale from the bought-off lamestream fake media, tentacle of the deep state. Yet another media tale, Trump tear gas protesters for a church photo op collapses. Remember that? Remember how, that was just about a photo op, and that's why these people were quote, tear gassed. Tear gas was not used, by the way. And Joe Biden had even jumped on this. Remember, Biden said, quote, Trump used the military and tear gas citizens, end quote. The guy just should have just stuck in his basement. The guy gets. But by the way, he's talking about using the military. Trump using the military, which he did not use, which we'll get to in a second, on this tear gas issue. What are 10,000 troops still doing in Washington? What is Biden doing with 10,000 troops still doing? I mean, he's the commander-in-chief, right? He supposedly has control over those troops. Why talk about using the military? What are they? Why were there 30,000? Why was he using 30,000? What? And he's talking about, right, this is nuts. This is what Glenn Greenwald said. For more than a year, it's been consecrated media that the former President Donald Trump in his White House on June 1st of 2020 directed the U.S. Park Police to use tear gas against peaceful Lafayette Park protests. You know, they set the Church of the Presidents on fire. Peaceful, yeah. Okay. All to enable a Trump photo op in front of St. John's Church. That this happened was never presented as a possibility or likelihood, but as indisputable truth. And it provoked weeks of unmitigated media outrage, presented as one of the most egregious assaults on the democratic order in decades. All this came crashing down on the globalists' heads recently. The independent inspector general of the Interior Department, Mark Lee Greenblatt, issued his office findings after a long investigation into the, quote, actions of the U.S. Park Police to disperse protesters in and around Lafayette Park in Washington, D.C. on June 1st, 2020, end quote. Now, lest you think Greenblatt is a Trump appointee, Greenblatt has been around Washington for a long time, occupying numerous key positions in the Obama administration, including investigative counsel at the Department of Justice's Office of Inspector General and Assistant Inspector General for Investigations at Obama's Commerce Department. The IG's conclusion could not be clearer. The media narrative was false from start to finish. Here's what the Obama appointee said. Quote, the evidence did not support a finding that the U.S. Park Police cleared the park on June 1st, 2020, so that then President Trump could enter the park. Instead, exactly as Margaret Hemingway's widely mocked by liberal outlets article reported, the evidence we reviewed showed that the U.S. Park Police cleared the park to allow a contractor to safely install anti-scale fencing in response to destruction of federal property and injury to officers that occurred on May 30th and May 31st, the days before this event in Lafayette Park occurred. Crucially, the evidence established that relevant U.S. Park Police officials had made those decisions and had begun implementing the operational plan several hours before they knew of a potential presidential visit to the park, which occurred later that day, end quote. It's all vaporizing. And then, remember, the bought-off lamestream fake media, tentacle of the deep state, idolized the Lincoln Project. Oh, these are a bunch of Republicans that are speaking against Trump, and they're not Republicans. One of the founders of this corrupt organization, Lincoln Project, is George Conway, Kellyanne Conway's husband. Wonder why Conway got fired? You think she was maybe feeding a little information to George from the inside? Yeah. And they're so independent. This is what the fake media is trying to tell you. This Lincoln Project, and they're doing God's work and outing all the Trump people and their agenda. Give me a break. Disgraced Lincoln Project, remember, because they were involved in pedophile-related activities. You're not going to hear that through the bought-off lamestream fake media. Disgraced Lincoln Project climbs in bed with Antifa terrorists. You ready for this one? You ready? The Disgraced Lincoln Project, a far-left super PAC, this is from John Nolte, credibly accused of shielding an alleged child predator, one of its founders, is now so desperate to find a fresh base of support, it not only released an ad glorifying the left-wing terrorist in Antifa as heroic and selfless, ready? It declares the treasonous anarchists as the moral equivalents of our World War II D-Day veterans. So, the bought-off lamestream fake media, just to show you how open-minded, we're embracing this right-wing organization, the Lincoln Project. Forget, they're not right-wing, they're left-wing. But that just shows you how, and they kept spewing their talking points for years. Same organization that embraces Antifa. Their media narrative continues to vaporize. Continues to vaporize. Let's look at this. Joe Biden. Basement Joe came out and said, the single greatest threat against the United States is climate change. What? Yeah, and he told the press that the Joint Chiefs of Staff of the military told me this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the media reported it. It's climate change this is the biggest threat to the United States. Pentagon boss clarifies Russia and China pose biggest threats after Biden says it's climate change. Recently, Biden told U.S. troops stationed in the UK that the Joint Chiefs told him, quote, the greatest threat facing America is global warming. A curious pivot from white supremacy. Well, that went out the window when it came out that Hunter was dropping the N-bomb a bunch of times in texts that just got revealed. So they had to move off of that. Let's move off of that because Hunter, let's go back to climate change is the biggest problem. This from Tim Young. So white supremacy was the biggest problem in America up until Hunter said the N-word. Now we're back to climate change. Got it? One day later, after Biden announced to the troops and to the media that, it's climate change is the single greatest threat, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs corrected Biden in asserting, he even couldn't take it, and he's a globalist, asserting instead that the biggest threats facing the U.S. are China and Russia. Righto. The narrative continues to vaporize in front of our eyes. And then, remember this, for months before the election, a number of us were out there talking about Hunter Biden and his money laundering activities with Ukraine, with China, with the Middle East, right? People out that window, the zealot. That's conspiracy theory. Just look at the reports on Hunter Biden's laptop and the dissection. Now, those same zealots outside that window are like, if I knew about Hunter Biden's laptop before the election, I don't think I would have voted for him. And if they're saying that in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor, they're saying it everywhere. If I had known, because the narrative, the CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, PBS, you name it, their whole narrative was to cover that up. And it was incredibly apparent. And all of us that had the courage to speak about that were demonized, attacked, threatened. But their propaganda is just vaporizing now in front of our own eyes. Hunter Biden was middleman, shocking, not to you that's listened to this and been involved in this platform for months, many months, years. Hunter Biden was middleman between Ukrainians and Democratic lobbyists currently under investigation. The smartest guy Joe Biden knows, remember Joe Biden said, the smartest guy I know is Hunter Biden. You know, the guy who's crawling around on the rug shoveling Parmesan cheese because he thinks it's crack cocaine up his nose and trying to, smoking it. Remember that? Because Hunter Biden admitted to that in a CBS interview. The smartest guy Joe Biden knows, Hunter Biden, acted as a middleman between Ukrainian energy Burisma and two Democratic lobbyists currently under investigation for failing to disclose their work for the scandal-plagued company, according to the Washington Free Beacon's Chuck Ross. Biden and people out here, well, I didn't know that. We've only been talking about it for months. Biden and colleagues at the private equity firm Rosemont Seneca helped Burisma Holdings hire Blue Star Strategies, a firm owned by former Clinton administration officials Sally Painter and Karen Tramontano. Biden's emails show he played a bigger role than anyone known in arranging Blue Star's consulting work for Burisma. Neither Biden nor the Blue Star founders registered their work under the Lobbying Disclosure Act or the Foreign Agents Registration Act. Well, wait a minute. They were trying to hit General Flynn on this FARA, this Foreign Agent Registration Act, which was bogus. They look at everybody that's a freedom fighter on the FARA issue. But for their own dweebs, oh no. Hunter Biden, oh, okay, look at that. No, don't do that. But it's interesting that all this is coming out, right? Now about Hunter, when we were speaking about it for months. And now that it's coming out in the bought-off lamestream fake media as their narrative has vaporized, all the little zealots out there are saying, well, I don't think I would have voted for Biden. So what do you think's going on here? Why do you think they're letting this stuff out? Could it be that we're very close for the globalist syndicate to move Biden out of the House and move Harris in? Could be. And let's end with this. Remember the media narrative. Oh, all this money that Biden is appropriating for pandemic relief, it's going in the hands of the very people that needed it. Really? No. Half of pandemic unemployment funds may have been stolen. This according to Axios, not exactly a right-wing organization. Was it stolen or was it allocated to the elite rather than to us, useless eaters? I don't go along with the stolen thing. I go along with willful allocation by the globalists. Yeah, it wasn't a mistake. It wasn't stolen. It was allocated, just like Biden was installed, not inaugurated. As much as half of the unemployment benefits paid by the U.S. government over the past year may have been stolen, allocated, through fraud, with the bulk ultimately ending up outside the country. Yeah, with those people that Hunter Biden had cut those deals with, like in Russia and China and the Middle East. Yeah. Ended up outside, likely into the hands of foreign crime syndicates in China, Nigeria, Russia, and elsewhere. This according to Axios' Felix Salmon. The deep state's propaganda has vaporized. And in the process, here's the good news, millions more individuals, including those zealots in the People's Republic of Ann Arbor, who up until November 2020, everything was conspiracy theory. It's vaporized to such a level that even those zealots are wait, what? Yeah. The globalists do not want you to realize this, but there's been a huge awakening regarding the truth of what happened, what is happening. And I believe, folks, that is the nidus, the nucleus, for significant changes down the road. They want you to believe all is lost. It's done. Fait accompli. Country's done. Republic's done. Don't buy into it. There are millions of freedom fighters, you, me, and millions more of us, that are networking the information about the truth. That's what I hope you do. I hope you'll take the information from today's presentation, all of our presentations, and the website, davejanda.com. The free side, as well as the subscription side. Become part of our freedom family. And network that information to everyone you know and love. The more people we have educated, the more people we have empowered, and the sooner we end this reign of terror by the deep state. The deep state doesn't want you to know this dirty little secret. They fear us, and they fear our numbers, and they mostly fear the awakening of us. And that is what's been happening. Slower than any of us would like, but it's happening. And it ultimately will lead to the defeat of the deep state. I thank you for your time today. I hope you'll join us at davejanda.com. We are there 24/7. The light's always on for you. Until next time, Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.